Hey guys, yeah, I'm recording this on my 4K Polaroid right now, and the reason I'm doing it is because one, my GoPro there, it works, but you know the battery that's in it, you know, if you have a GoPro, you know that the battery comes like with a little tab, right? So basically, the tab broke off. Now I could still use my GoPro and upload video content, but I got to do it through my phone and everything. But I got to clear up some space there mainly because my computer doesn't want to read the connection via USB cable to do so. So if I do use it in the future again, it's going to be that way. But I wanted to come on here, I wanted to come on here and talk about, you know, a bit of the Sonic comics that don't get much appreciation, and that is the compilations, the best of, the themed ones that go across all of Archie and even IDW. And this one right here, Best of Sonic the Hedgehog Volume 1, which is also gathered together in the Ultimate Collection right there. That's the Ultimate Collection. The Ultimate Collection right there. The Ultimate Collection takes, I think, all the stories from both Volumes 1 and 2 and collects them together. This collected only like only like 4 stories or 5 stories. And they were selected by certain people, like Ian Flynn chose Mecha Madness, you know, Rage Against the Machine, Mecha Madness. Spaz chose Endgame, Yardling chose Order from Chaos 1 and 2, and Future Tense was chosen by Jamal Peppers. And they do credit the people that worked on those stories over here by saying featuring the talents of, and yes, Mr. Penders is credited as well. It is a collection of all the stories and everything that they've done throughout the years. It is a collection of that, so I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool and everything that they do stuff like that. But it's not the only one. That's not the only collection they do it for. As I put this down for a second, like I said, that's not the only collection that they do it for either. In fact, one of the collections they did it for at the start, as I push them out of the way here. One of the stories they did it for at the start, of course, was Sonic the Beginning, Sonic the Hedgehog the Beginning, which essentially gathers a lot of the stories that Michael Gallagher helped work on. Basically, the earlier comedic, more adventures themed, if you will, and then they kind of show you exactly, you know, what those are and everything in the contents, you know, and everything. It's basically the first of and all that. You know, like the first appearance of Sally and all that. Basically, it's all the collections, you know, pieced together from like, you know, zero. I think from issue 0, I believe. Yeah, issue 0 all the way to I think issue 3. I think it's issue 3 or something that they do it. You know, so. Let me see here. I think it's issue 3, I believe, and all that. So yeah, up to issue 3. This is basically the miniseries, and they placed them together. Basically, for anybody that didn't get to watch the original miniseries, they placed them together as, you know, a collection and all that to work with. The other thing that they also did as well was these little mini volumes here, these little archive volumes, and these were basically, and they did it for both Sonic and Knuckles, and I got to give a shout out to Frank Hill because he sent me a majority of these. But basically what they did is they took a lot of the stories, you know, in Archie Sonic, and they condensed them, or condensed them, if you will, as well as in Archie Knuckles. They condensed them into basically, you know, mini form, like little travel forms. So like if you go on a trip, you could take one of these and read them along the way. But the way they did it is they would basically go by issue. So every volume collection there would be by issue, you know, by several issues. I think 3 or 4 issues, and I thought that was really nice. I thought that was really cool that they did that. You know, see, you know, because that way, like I said, if you're traveling and everything, you can read the stories and catch up to, like, what you may have missed out on in the beginning if you joined the comic later on and everything. The other thing they did as well is they did these magazines that they would sell and read, not just at like Walmart's and Wanda Books and all that, Barnes and Nobles and everything, but also at grocery outlets. Well, like a grocery outlet, I should say, as well as like a Lucky's, an Albertsons, a Dillon's, you name it, a Costco. And these were just collections of a lot of stories too, out of the comic, but in magazine form. So it also had little articles in there as well, but it was mostly like comic themed, to where you'd get the stories as well as some other information to go along with it. And then here we have basically the collection of stories where they were all themed, but they were also, best of as well. So like you would get the main story that it focused on, like this here, Journey to the, what is it, Journey to the East. This is all of the story. This is all of Journey to the East, that took place during the Iron Dominion arc. This is all that story. But they also concluded, if you will, with some stories and everything as well that you didn't get, or that you got basically afterwards. You basically get like an epilogue. You get an epilogue feature and everything. Basically, you get the stories that took place, I think, in, what was it, issue 11, issue 211, I believe. So you get that as well. As I put this back somewhere, let me see where I had it. This was Universe. This was Universe. So let's see, where did I have it? I had it here somewhere. I take it out, and then of course I screw up a little bit. There we go. Put it right there. But yeah, it was basically, these are just like collections and everything that are themed, and then they add in a little something at the end as well. So, for example, with, get my hand back on my handle here with the camera. Like for example, you look at Sonic the Hedgehog Countdown to Chaos, and this is basically a graphic. This is kind of like a restart of this. This is a restart of this. So they took everything from like 52 on the way up to about 57, I believe, and collected it into that. So that was really nice that they did that. And then of course they took the Mega Man stories, and they did some collections on that. They basically put them into 2 volumes and everything, and that was the first one. Of course, basically they took them into, it looks like, 3 volumes. I think it was just 3 volumes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of the first Worlds Collide crossover between them. So they did that. And then you had the Saga series, which pretty much was like pretty much like the collection, the collection of stories and all that, but they, I guess, finally decided to just give it a name and call it the Saga series. So basically the Saga series, I'm trying to pull this out here, is let me see, this is volume, this is volume 1. Just want to make sure. The Saga series, collects a lot of the stories that we get, like Darkest Storm. It gives us the Darkest Storm story and everything. It gives us that, and then I think it gives us like a little bonus as well. It gives us a little bonus, if you will. I'm trying to get the camera in shot there. I do apologize. But yeah, it gives us a little bonus as well. So instead of just the Saga series, you also get like when Ian Flynn took when you get the first story that Ian Flynn did when he took over as the head writer. You get that, as well. So you get that, and basically again, it's just like this. The Saga series is basically like this, where it's all a collection of stuff and everything. It's not totally themed entirely, if you will. So, like for example, you see a lot of these here, like Mogul Rising and Evil Reborn and all that. These are just, again, they're mainly all the stories, are all the main stories that are part of it, but they also have a few extra trinkets here and there. So they wouldn't get like totally themed story-wise and character-wise until we got into what is known as the Sonic Select series. And then that's when things started to get a little bit more themed, if you will. So like for example, I was looking at this yesterday. This one here, I'm gonna pick my camera up here again, guys. I do apologize. But this one here, as I get things adjusted, this one here, which is book 7 of Sonic Selects, you could tell it's very themed. And it's got Sally on it. In fact, I think it's the first one that's had Sally on it. Period. I think it's the only one that has her on it. I'm double checking the ones I got here. Yeah, it is the only one that has Sally on it and everything. So anyway, this is the only one that has her on it, and the reason she's on there is most of the stories are very Sally centric. So you have basically in this table of contents, you have the Deadliest of Species prologue, and of course the miniseries Deadliest of Species, which was the 3-part or the 3-issue Princess Sally miniseries, all in this book. You know, all in this book and everything. You know, which basically is, like I said, it's themed. It's got a theme of, you know, being very Sally centric. And you even have My Special Friend, which is a Knuckles issue where she guest starred in it. And then you have the 222 issue, which kind of basically fans have been waiting for. Excuse me, they've been waiting for since about what, 131, about what was it, 134? I've been waiting for that moment since 134, and everything. They've been waiting for it, you know, for quite some time. And I think it was definitely worth the wait, as I try to show you what I'm talking about here and everything. You know, but yeah, it was definitely worth the wait, in my opinion. But like I said, you know, that's what these books were. They were very themed, if you will. They were very themed and everything when it came to the comics and everything. Like trying to, you know, give people an idea of like, okay, this is what, you know, is centered in this story and everything. Like this one here, book 8. You see that it's only Sonic, Tails, and Eggman, Sonic, Tails, and Robotnik, and it's obviously very Tails-centric. And you can see that right off the start. It's very Tails-centric, if you will. It's got Tails involved in some of the stories, but again, you can see very Tails-centric. So basically, what they would do with these, again, is they would theme them after characters or events. So if you saw a character on there with Sonic, you know, and Robotnik and such, that character mostly would be the one that the stories would be focused on. You know, that would be the character the stories would be focused on. You know, for that, collection, if you will. Now, the other thing that they did as well, because they were trying to keep the comic going, even despite all the legal issues. Basically, they had these come out, the volumes, and Frank Hill sent me these. This is the Legacy Collection, and what these are is basically all the issues, if you will, all the issues, the Sega, the Sonic Legacy Collection, are all the issues of the comics up until, basically up until a certain point, but in black and white. Yeah, they were basically black and white is what they were. And I like that. I like that idea that they collected a lot of the issues up until a certain point, you know, for the comic. So I did like that. And I think this goes up to about almost the 50th issue, if you will, initially under Archie Sonic. Now, like I said, Archie Sonic is not the only ones that have been doing this. In fact, one of the comics I have, oh, and this is another one too. This is, they would do, like I said, this was beginnings and all that, but they would also do what's known as first. And this was like the first appearances of certain characters or events. Like you see bunnies on there, so it shows you her first appearance and everything. The only issue people had with it, and they did correct this later on, you know, with future collections and re-releases of the story, is they would have Sally colored, you know, into, well, they had, because basically these are based on the earlier comics that, like I said, were more adventures based. And Sally was pink with black hair, right? So what they did is they color corrected it because it came out at a time when they had already basically, you know, gave her traditional coloring that we know of and everything. So yeah, that was, so yeah, you got stories like this, like you got first appearance of Supersonic, Knuckles, Bunny, and so on. And they did put this out as a super special as well, one of those 48-page super specials that they would do. And then of course they list off like the stories and everything. So there you go. But yeah, but yeah, they would do those kind of collections with these, and I appreciated that. I really did. But again, like I was saying, they're not the only ones to do it, because of course you have IDW. They do it, and here's one of them: IDW's Imposter Syndrome, and they took the stories from the issues in which Surge and Kit were introduced in and collected them into a story. They did the same thing. They did the same thing with Tangle and Whispers miniseries. They did the same thing with them as well, and I do have that as well. And again, I got to give a shout out to Frank Hill for that, because one thing he's doing for me and a lot of other people is, just in case we haven't had time to catch up on the issues, is he's sending out the collections to us to catch up on them. So I do appreciate that. And again, what those are themed at, these collections. In fact, excuse me, getting tongue tied. In fact, I have the collection like packed up right here, or packed in right here. This is where the collections are, most of them, and then some of them are over there as well. But what those are, basically, just like I mentioned, they're collections of stories, but they're all themed, and they're also all categorized issue-wise. So like one volume will have like issues 1 to 5, and then 6 to 10, or 6 to 11, and so on. So I got to give a shout out to him for doing that. But yeah, basically these kind of comics, these kind of collections, they don't get enough love, because they allow you to catch up on what you may have missed. Or in my case, if you've been a collector for a long time and you have a lot of comics based on this, but just you store them away, like I stored them away in there in the closet in the binders, but you want to read them on occasions, that's what these kind of collections are for, to allow you to read them without having to sort through all the comics you've collected throughout the years. So anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to do this. I know it's a little amateurish, a little like all of a sudden, like kind of like all over, if you will. I do apologize for that. But I just wanted to do this, guys, and talk about them, give you my thoughts, and show them a bit of appreciation. I know we're going to get more of these collections from IDW over time, but let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, ring the bell for notification, subscribe to the channel. Go to all the links in the description to find my content elsewhere. You can find me on all your favorite audio and video podcast affiliates like iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Audible, Radio Public, Overcast. Anywhere there's a podcast, you will probably find mine there as well. Also, guys, check me out at rumble.com at BWRoses, and at odyssey.com at BWRoses, or BWRoses 0.5. Also, check me out at VENMO at BWRoses. Also, find me at patreon.com at BWRoses to help support the channel there. Also, guys, check me out at Venmo and Cash App. It'd be greatly appreciated if you can help out there as well. Also, check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Links are in the description. As well as follow me on twitter.com, now known as x.com at BWRoses. And follow me at Blue Sky at BWRoses. But guys, I just wanted to do this. And again, let me know what your thoughts are on the collections. And that's all I can say. And until then, I am out.